Have you ever noticed that as you get older, some simple everyday tasks start to seem more difficult? Climbing stairs, getting out of a chair, or even opening a jar can take more effort than they used to. For many older adults, this loss of strength and energy isn't just a part of aging, like it's a sign of something called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia is the name given to the natural loss of muscle mass that occurs with age. It affects millions of people worldwide, especially after the age of 60. What few people know is that this condition does not have to be accepted as an inevitable fate. There is a simple, accessible, and natural way to resist this process: the right diet. In this video, you'll discover which superfoods help protect and restore muscle strength. These foods aren't hard to find and don't require complicated recipes. With a few changes to your diet, you can maintain and even improve your mobility, balance, and independence. If you are over 60 or care for someone in that age group, what you will learn here can transform your routine and your health. We will talk about real food with real benefits for the body. Oh, and before we continue, check if you are already subscribed to the channel. That way, you won't miss any of the upcoming videos with health, nutrition, and well-being tips for seniors. Now, before we get into these superfoods, we need to understand what exactly happens to our muscles as we age, and why. What is sarcopenia, and why does it happen? We age, our bodies go through a number of natural changes. One of the most significant and least talked about is the gradual loss of muscle mass. This process is known as sarcopenia, and while it's common, it's not harmless. Sarcopenia usually begins to manifest itself after the age of 50, but its effects become more evident after the age of 60. It is as if the body is slowly turning off part of its muscular capacity. The person feels less strong, more tired, and begins to avoid movements that previously seemed simple. Over time, this limitation can affect independence and quality of life. But what causes sarcopenia? Several factors are involved. The main one is the natural decline in hormones related to muscle growth, such as testosterone and growth hormone. In addition, the reduction in physical activity, common in old age, contributes to accelerating this loss. And of course, a diet poor in protein and essential nutrients further weakens the muscular system. Another factor that often goes unnoticed is chronic low-grade inflammation, common in the elderly. It negatively affects muscle regeneration and makes it difficult for the body to respond to exercise and nutrition. Symptoms may vary: difficulty climbing stairs, getting out of bed, carrying bags, walking steadily. In more advanced cases, sarcopenia increases the risk of falls, fractures, and hospitalizations, creating a cycle of frailty that is difficult to reverse. But here's the good news: sarcopenia can be prevented and controlled, and especially when diet is involved. Choosing the right foods can help your body rebuild muscle, improve strength, and regain autonomy without relying on expensive medications or complicated interventions. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about next: how food can become a powerful tool to preserve your muscles and your freedom. Why is nutrition so important? Now that you understand what sarcopenia is and why it happens, it's time to look at one of the most powerful and often underrated tools in combating this condition: diet. Muscles don't just disappear, they wear out when they don't get the right nutrients. And just as a wall needs bricks to be built, the body needs proteins, vitamins, and minerals to keep its muscular structure strong. The lack of these bricks over the years weakens what supports our movement, the muscles. As we age, our bodies also begin to absorb nutrients less efficiently. This means that an elderly person may eat the same amount as before, but if they don't choose the right foods, their body won't get the nutrients it needs to stay strong. The right diet provides good quality protein, which is essential for the growth and repair of muscle tissue. In addition, it provides micronutrients such as vitamin D, calcium, magnesium, and vitamin B12, which work together to preserve muscle, bone, and neurological health. More than just a simple food choice, eating well becomes an act of self-care and prevention. And we're not talking about difficult diets or exotic ingredients. We're talking about accessible, tasty foods that are part of many people's daily lives, but that, when used intentionally, can generate big changes. So if this content is helping you see food in a different light, leave your like on the video. This shows us that we are on the right track and helps us to continue bringing this type of information to more people who need it. Now, let's get to what really matters. What are these Superfoods that help the body to strengthen itself naturally. Superfoods that strengthen the body. Understanding the role of nutrition in muscle health is the first step. Now, let's get straight to the point. What foods really help fight sarcopenia and strengthen the body naturally? These foods are called superfoods because they offer a high concentration of nutrients with direct health benefits. They are inexpensive, do not require complicated recipes, and can be easily included in your daily routine. Below, you will learn about some of the main allies of your muscles and understand how to use them in your daily life. 1. Eggs, rich in high-quality protein and leucine, an essential amino acid for muscle growth. The yolk also provides vitamin D and choline, important for muscle and brain health. How to consume? Boiled, scrambled, in omelets with natural seasonings. 1 or 2 eggs a day, depending on your doctor's advice, can make a difference. 2. Chicken and fish, such as sardines and tuna, lean sources of animal protein. Sardines, in addition to protein, are rich in omega-3 and calcium, which helps with muscle regeneration and bone health. How to consume? Grilled, shredded, or baked. Canned sardines are a practical and nutritious option. 3. Legumes, beans, lentils, and chickpeas. In addition to providing vegetable protein, they are rich in iron, zinc, and fiber. These foods help with satiety, digestion, and maintaining muscle mass. How to consume? In salads, soups, or sautéed with olive oil and natural seasonings. 4. Natural yogurt and white cheeses. Excellent sources of protein and calcium. Yogurt also promotes intestinal health, which improves nutrient absorption. How to consume? For breakfast or as an afternoon snack with oats or seeds. 5. Seeds. Pumpkin, sunflower, and chia rich in protein, good fats, zinc, and magnesium. All important for muscle and immune health. How to consume on top of fruit, yogurt, soups, or even in homemade bread and cake recipes. 6. Olive oil. And avocado, sources of healthy fats and anti-inflammatory compounds that protect muscles and aid in the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins like D and K. How to consume? Olive oil can be used in salads or to finish dishes. Avocado in small portions at breakfast or dinner. 7. Turmeric and ginger, powerful natural anti-inflammatories. Chronic inflammation is one of the causes of muscle degradation in the elderly, and these spices help combat it. How to consume? In teas, soups, stews, or as a seasoning for meat and vegetables. 8. Oats and quinoa. Excellent sources of complex carbohydrates with fiber and vegetable protein. They provide sustained energy and help maintain muscle tissue. How to consume? Oats can be used with fruits, smoothies, or porridge. Quinoa replaces rice and goes well with salads. 9. Red fruits. Strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, and blueberries contain antioxidants that protect muscle cells against aging and oxidative stress. How to consume? Pure, frozen in smoothies or with yogurt. When not available, concentrated extracts are also effective. 10. Mushrooms and egg yolk. Good sources of vitamin D, which is essential for muscle strength and preventing falls. Vitamin D also aids in calcium absorption and neuromuscular function. How to consume? Sautéed mushrooms in omelets or simple stews. 11. Water and natural teas. Proper hydration keeps your metabolism functioning properly and helps with protein synthesis. Without water, your body cannot make good use of the nutrients it receives. How to consume? Keep your intake constant throughout the day. Teas such as chamomile, fennel, or green tea offer additional benefits without excess caffeine. These foods don't all need to be eaten together in the same meal. The secret is consistency. Including them daily in a simple and tasty way means that the benefits accumulate over time. And now that you know what to put on your plate, how about understanding how to put together a balanced meal that brings all of this together in a practical and nutritious way? That's what we'll talk about in the next chapter. How to assemble a strengthening plate. Knowing which superfoods help preserve muscle mass is essential. But for all of this to work in practice, it is important to understand how to combine them in everyday life. After all, it's not enough to eat well once in a while. The secret lies in the consistency and balance of your meals. A good starting point is to think about the concept of a fortified plate. a meal that brings together the main food groups that work together to maintain muscles and energy. To achieve this, the ideal is for each meal to contain a good source of protein, such as eggs, chicken, fish, beans, or yogurt, complex carbohydrates, such as brown rice, sweet potatoes, oats, or quinoa, healthy fats found in olive oil, avocado, or seeds, fiber, vitamins, and minerals provided by cooked vegetables, leaves, and fruits. A simple example of breakfast could be natural yogurt with oats, chia, and a spoonful of peanut butter. For lunch, rice, beans, grilled chicken, cooked pumpkin, and a salad seasoned with olive oil. For dinner, an omelet with mushrooms and sautéed vegetables. Nothing complicated, and everything focused on nourishing the body with what it really needs. And if you get tired of a food, vary it with substitutions from the same category. Swap chicken for fish, quinoa for brown rice, or beans for lentils. The important thing is to maintain the nutritional structure. Avoiding overeating is also part of balance. Eating mindfully and chewing well helps with digestion and nutrient absorption, and allows the body to make better use of each component of the meal. Now I want to know from you, which of these foods do you already eat on a daily basis? Or do you want to try something new? Leave a comment below because I read everything carefully and can use your answers to bring you more practical tips in future videos. And speaking of enhancing the effects of this diet, there is something that can multiply its results: the habits that accompany the dish. We will talk about them in the next chapter. Habits that boost results. Diet is the foundation, but it doesn't work alone. For superfoods to truly play their role in preventing sarcopenia, it's essential that they're accompanied by some simple but powerful habits that act as multipliers of results. The first of these is regular physical activity, and we're not talking about heavy exercise or going to the gym. Light walks, stretching, climbing stairs, and short sets of exercises using your own body weight or simple objects like water bottles can all make a difference. The important thing is to keep your body moving, stimulating your muscles to stay active and resilient. Another essential habit is sun exposure, especially during the safe hours of the morning. This stimulates the natural production of vitamin D, which strengthens muscles, bones, and the immune system. Just 10 to 15 minutes a day can help a lot. Quality sleep is also a silent but vital ally. During the night's rest, the body carries out important repairs, including muscle reconstruction. Sleeping well helps regulate hormones and recover muscle fibers after physical exertion. Hydration is another key point. A dehydrated body cannot perform metabolic processes efficiently, including protein synthesis. Drinking water throughout the day, even if you don't feel thirsty, is a simple habit that improves the functioning of the entire body. Finally, maintaining an organized eating routine with regular meal times helps the body to function more steadily. This prevents long periods without nutrients, which promote muscle loss and energy imbalance. Now that we've seen how these habits can boost the effects of eating, it's time to talk about something equally important: the most common mistakes that end up sabotaging all this effort, often without the person realizing it. Common mistakes that harm muscle health. Even with good intentions and effort, some common attitudes can seriously hinder the results in combating sarcopenia. These are subtle errors, often made out of habit or lack of guidance, but which end up sabotaging the preservation of muscle mass. Knowing them is the first step to avoiding them. One of the most common is skipping meals or eating too little, especially breakfast and dinner. Many older adults have reduced appetites or simply do not feel hungry at these times, but the body needs constant fuel to maintain muscles. Going long periods without eating weakens the body and accelerates muscle loss. Another mistake is to think that protein is only for young people or those who go to the gym. The truth is that as we age, our bodies need even more protein to preserve what they already have. And this protein should be present in every meal, not just lunch. It's also common to rely solely on supplements, such as whey protein or isolated vitamins, and forget about real food. Supplements have their value, but they can never replace natural foods, which offer a rich and balanced combination of nutrients. Another point to be careful about is following restrictive diets without supervision. Cutting out important food groups, such as carbohydrates or good fats, can harm your metabolism and accelerate the loss of muscle mass. Finally, ignoring your body's signals, such as frequent weakness, cramps, or loss of balance, can delay simple interventions that make all the difference. Avoiding these mistakes does not require extreme effort, just awareness and small changes in your daily life. Over time, your body responds positively, and the results appear gradually and consistently. If these tips are useful to you, please like the video. This shows that this content makes sense and helps us to continue producing practical and accessible materials for those seeking greater health and autonomy in old age. We have reached the end of this journey, and if there is one thing we want to make clear, it is that losing strength with age is not an inevitable fate. Sarcopenia can be faced and overcome with simple, consistent, and accessible attitudes. Throughout this video, we saw that nutrition is a powerful ally in preserving muscle mass. We know superfoods that go far beyond basic nutrition. They provide the body with the elements necessary to maintain strength, balance, and autonomy at all stages of life. We also understand that complementary habits, such as exercising, sunbathing, sleeping well, and staying hydrated, enhance these effects. And at the same time, we learn to avoid common mistakes, which sometimes go unnoticed, but which compromise muscle health and quality of life. The good news is that you don't have to do it all at once. Pick a single food we've covered here, or a new habit, and start with that. The important thing is to take the first step. Small changes, made regularly, build lasting results. Remember, taking care of your body also means taking care of your freedom to live well. And it's never too late to start. The sooner you apply what you've learned here, the sooner you'll feel the benefits in your daily life. If you enjoyed this content and want to continue learning about health, nutrition, and quality of life for seniors, subscribe to the channel right now. Here you will find clear, practical information prepared with care to help you or someone you love live with more vitality and confidence. Thank you very much for following us this far. Your health deserves this care. See you in the next video.